पुमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। We are seeing here the words of Mother Devahuti. To understand the context in which this is being spoken, we have seen the earlier part of the story where Devahuti, she is handed over by her father Swayambhuva Manu to Kardama Muni. So Devahuti serves Kardama Muni very sincerely, and then 9 daughters and 1 son is born of them. As promised earlier, Kardama Muni had told Devahuti, I'll be with you during the time of marriage itself. He had told her, I'll be with you till the time you have children to take care of. So accordingly, there were 9 daughters, 1 son. After the birth of the son, and who was their son? The Supreme Lord himself, his plenary portion as Lord Kapila. After his birth, Kardama Muni left for the forest. Then we see in the earlier part of this chapter itself how Shaunaka Rishi, he is telling to Suta Goswami that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he himself has appeared now in the womb of Devahuti, and we would like to hear what the Supreme Lord instructed to Mother Devahuti, because the purpose of the appearance of Lord Kapila was to disseminate the knowledge of Sankhya. So Shaunaka Rishi expressed his desire to hear about the teachings of Lord Kapila, for which Suta Goswami, he starts answering by quoting the reference or the narration which took place between Vidura and Maitreya. So Suta Goswami says, the most powerful sage Maitreya was a friend of Vyasadeva. Being encouraged and pleased by Vidura's enquiry about transcendental knowledge, Maitreya spoke as follows. Then Maitreya Rishi starts speaking. He says that when Kardama Muni left for the forest, Lord Kapila stayed on the strand of the Bindu Sarovara to please his mother Devahuti. And then when Kapila, who could show her the ultimate goal of the absolute truth, was sitting leisurely before her, Devahuti remembered the words Brahma had spoken to her, and she therefore began to question Kapila as follows. So when mother and son, they were sitting, when Kapila Muni was sitting leisurely in the home, in the palace, at one point of time, Devahuti remembered the words of Lord Brahma. What were the words of Lord Brahma? After the 9 daughters were born, Lord the Supreme Lord entered the womb of Devahuti. At that point of time, Lord Brahma appears in front of Kardama Muni and Devahuti, and he gave certain instructions. So that we find in the earlier chapter, in chapter 24. Yes. So this was even before Kapila was being born. Brahma had told to Devahuti, Lord Brahma then told Devahuti, my dear daughter of Manu, the same Supreme Personality of Godhead who killed the demon Kaitava is now within your womb. He will cut off all the knots of your ignorance and doubt. Then he will travel all over the world. Your son will be the head of all the perfected souls. He will be approved by the acharyas, expert in disseminating real knowledge. And among the people, he will be celebrated by the name Kapila. As the son of Devahuti, he will increase your fame. So these were the words spoken by Lord Brahma even before the birth of Kapila. So Mother Devahuti remembered these verses. So her son, he is not an ordinary person. He is a plenary portion of the Supreme Lord, and he has come here for the purpose of disseminating this knowledge of Sankhya. So she wanted to take advantage of this situation. So when Kapila was leisurely there in the home, Mother Devahuti started asking certain questions, started inquiring from him. That's what we see now here. In the previous verse, Devahuti expressed herself in these words. I am very sick of the disturbance caused by my material senses. For because of this sense disturbance, my Lord, I have fallen into the abyss of ignorance. So this is exactly how Mother Devahuti is expressing the condition of all fallen conditioned souls of this material world. Having fallen in the abyss of ignorance, in the well of dark pit of sense gratification. And then today's verse we see, Tasya tvam tamasondhasya dushparasyadya paragam satchakshur janmanam ante labdham me tvad anugrahat. Your Lordship is my only means of getting out of this darkest region of ignorance, because you are my transcendental I, which by your mercy only I have attained after many, many births. See, all these words, these sentences filled with like whatever teachings we have seen from the Bhagavad Gita, wherein the purport also Srila Prabhupada says, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudevam sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. After many, many births, a person comes to the conclusion that yes, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and surrenders to him. So Mother Devahuti has recognized this after many, many births. By your mercy, I have now got the transcendental I. And who is the transcendental I? It is you yourself have become my transcendental I, which I have got by your mercy after many, many births. This is how Devahuti is expressing herself in front of her son, transcendental son, Lord Kapila. Because until and unless we get the shelter of the Supreme Lord or his representative, it is practically not possible, almost impossible to get rid of or come out of the ignorance, whatever, of this material world, we require help. On our own, we cannot cross over the ocean of nescience. So we have fallen in the pit. Imagine there is a big well, dark well, deep inside the forest, very deep, dark, and we have fallen inside. There is no means on our own strength or whatever that we'll be able to come out of this deep well. First thing is we are unable to see anything, which direction, or full of darkness and incapacitated, our freedom is curtailed, all these things. So if at all we want to come out of the well, there should be a person who is outside the well. If at all there is another person inside the well there, he may not be able to help us. He will not be in the capacity to help us, whatever, get rid of this condition of existence inside the dark, deep well. So we look forward for help from a person who is outside the well, who is liberated. And through some means, maybe through some rope or through whatever, through different varieties of ways, he gives certain specific instructions and creates certain facilities for us. And then if we are able to understand his instructions, follow his instructions, take benefit of the facilities, what he has made it available to us for our deliverance, then only will we be able to get rid of or come out of this dark well of ignorance. And what is this dark well of ignorance which is spoken about? In the previous verse we see it is the well of sense gratification. Every living entity, depending on the influence of the three modes of material nature, is behind objects for sense gratification. This has become the sole purpose of existence of all living entities in the material world. Every living entity looks forward or goes behind for objects of sense gratification. For what? Under the illusory understanding that these sense objects will give me pleasure, will give me happiness, but which is illusion. Prahlada Maharaja, in his prayers we see, wherein he says, Kamanalam Madulavai Shamayandurapai. Kama Anala. The desire for sense gratification is compared to fire. Kama Analam. And how is this? Durapaihi. How much ever you go on, whatever, providing fuel to the fire doesn't say enough. I am full, I'll not whatever burn more or whatever. It doesn't stop there. The more you go on adding fuel to that, the more the intensity of the fire, the quantum of the fire goes on increasing. And it also asks for more and more and more. This goes on. And for such a fire, the objects of senses which are available in the material world, which is like Madhulavaihi. Madhu means honey or some sweet beverage. Lava means very little, just a drop of honey. For a hungry person, just one drop of honey or whatever, it doesn't satisfy him. There's a huge desert and we are feeling very thirsty, and one person comes and says, I'll help you, open your mouth, I'll provide you water. And we are very eager desperate for water, feeling very thirsty, and just one drop of water is put. It actually really doesn't quench our thirst. We are thirsty. We require whatever, water like anything. So just one drop, it doesn't quench our thirst. In fact, it will make us hanker more for water. In the Bhagavatam, in the other place also, we hear how Srila Prabhupada explains this. This material world, full of dangers, it's a forest, and a traveler has gone in, and a lion starts chasing, and somehow he climbs the tree, and there he finds other things, also one serpent with its mouth wide open, and some rats are biting the branch on which he is sitting. Any moment the branch may break and he may just fall down. Shri Krishna Balarama ki jai. But forgetting all of these things, from the top of another branch of the tree, there is some honeybee beehive, and in some regular intervals, one drop of honey is falling. Forgetting all the impending dangers, this person is opening his mouth wide open and looking and waiting when that next drop of honey will fall. Actually, that honey will not satisfy him, will not give him relief from all that, whatever, that lion or the serpent or falling from the tree and so many dangers there in the forest. It will never give him relief from these dangers. But by the taste of that honey, he has become forgetful that actually he doesn't belong to this forest. He has a residence outside this forest. He has a family to take care. Loving, caring family members are there, and he has his own duty to perform and many other activities outside this forest. He is forgetful of all of these things and just engrossed in tasting that whatever drop of honey. So this is exactly the condition of fallen, conditioned souls in this material world, completely fallen for sense gratification, going behind sense objects. Even after again and again and again, the sense objects doesn't give us happiness. We hear so much from all the Vedic literatures. In spite of these things, it is not easy to give up. So this is where the requirement of a spiritual master comes into picture. Without the mercy of the spiritual master, without the mercy of the Supreme Lord, a fallen conditioned soul on his own strength will never be able to overcome this dark pit of ignorance. Here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, this verse is very instructive since it indicates the relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple. There is a relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple. Of course, naturally it will not be there. Living entities, especially human beings, we should become aware of the necessity of a spiritual master, and we should, with all sincerity, we should put our effort consciously. We should establish relationship with a bona fide spiritual master for our ultimate good. As the Bhagavatam, other Vedic literatures say, Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta. We have to surrender unto a spiritual master. Shreya Uttamam, for our ultimate good. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya. We have to go Pranipata. We have to fall at the feet of the spiritual master, pariprashna, inquire from him about the ultimate welfare of our existence, and sevaya, render service unto him. Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tatvadarshinaha. Because the spiritual master, he has seen the real truth, he will be able to impart the truth to us. So here we see Mother Devahuti. So apparently even in the previous class we heard how Devahuti, she is the mother and Kapila Muni, he is the son. She is elder and he is apparently younger, but still Devahuti inquired from her son about transcendental subject matters. So here we see who is the spiritual master here in this case. Devahuti, son. Who is that son? Kapila. Who is the disciple? Devahuti. So here we see, okay, Devahuti is fortunate enough to get the Supreme Lord himself as the spiritual master. And Devahuti, she is also not an ordinary person. If we see how in the earlier chapters, in the previous chapter wherein the lamentation of Devahuti, what are the qualifications of Devahuti? How sincerely she had served her husband Kardama Muni. That we'll see. Just few verses I'll read out. After the departure of her parents, the chaste woman Devahuti, who could understand the desires of her husband, served him constantly with great love, as Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva, serves her husband. So here Maitreya Muni is telling how Devahuti, now see, she is the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, who is the king. She is the princess. So she is being now married to Kardama Muni, who was staying in an ashram, in a hermitage. So the king, he has left his daughter in the hands of Kardama Muni and he has gone. After the parents went, Devahuti very sincerely now she is serving her husband. Devahuti served her husband with intimacy, with great respect, with control of the senses, with love and with sweet words. Then, working sanely and diligently, she pleased her very powerful husband, giving up all lust, pride, envy, greed, sinful activities and vanity. Giving up all these things very sincerely, Mother Devahuti served her husband. The daughter of Manu, who was fully devoted to her husband, looked upon him as greater even than Providence. Thus she expected great blessings from him. Having served him for a long time, she grew weak and emaciated due to her religious observances. See, like this it continues. So Devahuti, how? Not even caring for her own personal body, for its maintenance, giving up all lust, greed, false pride, vanity, everything, sincerely she had served her husband. So as a result of that, she was being blessed to have Lord Kapila as her son, and as it was foretold by Lord Brahma that Kapila, you can take instructions from him. He has come here for disseminating the knowledge of Sankhya. So remembering these things, now Devahuti has accepted the role of disciple. Just like Arjuna also we find in the Bhagavad Gita, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. He surrenders unto Krishna because earlier the relationship was, they were both friends, Arjuna and Krishna. Now in that situation, bewildering situation, Arjuna accepted Krishna as a spiritual master. I am your disciple, kindly instruct me. Then Lord Krishna starts speaking. Likewise, here we see Mother Devahuti and her son Kapila, mother and son. But now, remembering the instructions of Lord Brahma, Mother Devahuti, she is requesting Kapila to give her whatever knowledge, transcendental knowledge. Here in this purport, Srila Prabhupada tells another, one more very nice instruction is there, wherein he says, we are suffering simply because of ignorance. By the instruction of the spiritual master, the darkness of ignorance is removed, and thus the disciple is enabled to go to the side of freedom. So, according to this, what is the cause for suffering? See, we see in this material world, dukkhalayam, ashashvatam, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, different kinds of kleshas, all of those things are there. What is the cause for all of these things? What is the reason? Ignorance. Yes. Ignorance is the root cause. Because of ignorance, helplessly, in this conditioned state, in this material world, a living entity commits sinful activities. As a result of sinful activity, suffering, all kinds of different kinds of painful conditions he has to face in his life. So if we see, it's so much necessary, important for us to come out of ignorance. So here it is said, by the instruction of the spiritual master, the darkness of ignorance is removed, and thus the disciple is enabled to go to the side of freedom. So here there is the material world, in between there is the Viraja river, and on the other side is a side of light or the side of freedom. So because of ignorance, we are there in this dark material world, dark pit. We have been fallen here. By the instruction of the spiritual master, he will help us cross over, go to the other side, the side of freedom. Prabhupada continues to say how it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, after many, many births, one surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, if after many, many births one is able to find a bona fide spiritual master and surrender to such a bona fide representative of Krishna, one can be taken to the side of light. So right now we are in the side of darkness. So by following the instructions of the spiritual master, we will be taken to the side of light. So we are all very fortunate. We saw how Mother Devahuti, she is also fortunate to get the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally as her spiritual master, a guide to instruct her. We should feel even more fortunate. Why? Because the pure devotees of the Supreme Lord are more merciful than the Lord Himself. So we are more fortunate to get a pure devotee spiritual master like Srila Prabhupada. So if at all, so this is a very rare opportunity what we have got. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavana Jiva. We are rotating in the ups and down in this material world, and somehow by fortune, not everyone have got this opportunity. Kono Bhagyavana Jiva, fortunate living entities, they get the opportunity to come in touch with a pure devotee of the Lord. So which we have got, Guru Krishna Kripaya Paya Bhakti Lata Beach, and we have received the seed of devotion from Him. So it's left to us how seriously we take it, how sincerely we follow these instructions and help the Bhakti Lata grow in our heart. So we'll conclude with this. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद।